there, eh? Good night. That was almost a tie. That was a
I
dead
saw
heat,
that.
I think. Yeah. It was like Jack and Matt were riding in the same truck. Happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tailgate Tuesday with the Idle Zone Syndicate. Live from deep inside the Tornado Safe Area 51 studios here in Not Mutchinson. Guys, we have had a round of weather around the neighborhood the last couple of nights. Hopefully we can all get a little rest this evening.
We got lucky. Honestly, it wasn't too bad here. I think it went all around us. We didn't even have any warnings here.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
We had a lot of wind and rain last night.
Yes, we had a pile of wind. Wow.
Oh, and did you step outside and watch the lightning last night?
No, I was
Oh
fast.
my. It was wild.
So, yeah. Shout out to everybody that made it through the storms the last couple of nights. Little town that's just southwest of us here in Hutch. And it's a very small community. There's like 85 people. So it's more like a big neighborhood than a town, but they had several homes and other buildings destroyed. And then almost straight north of there, closer to Nebraska, Grinnell had several buildings and things destroyed, but I don't believe I ever saw a report of an injury or anything worse.
Yeah, I don't believe so either.
So that's awesome. Let's jump right into it. John, you were responsible for bringing him the first time and this time. Who do we have tonight?
We have the one and only Tucker Smith.
Tucker.
Looks like
Can you
he's
hear me?
driving. He's driving.
No, I'm riding. My
Wait,
girlfriend's actually driving me right now.
Oh,
See, that's
Yeah.
what happens. You win that big money, then
yeah, you win
I got a chauffeur.
a tournament,
Nice.
you get a chauffeur. That's awesome. Well, first off, congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been crazy couple weeks.
Yeah. What a tournament. What an awesome tournament.
It was nuts.
127 pounds to be exact.
Yeah. What's that feel like? Because none of us will ever experience that.
Man, I don't know. It's hard to put into words because I didn't really expect to win. You know, Koya had a lead, such a big lead, and I thought that he was going to catch at least another 30-pound bag. So to be able just to have a chance like that in an event that big like the Elite Series is, you don't get that chance very often. And then having an 8-pound deficit too, it's like you never know what could happen. He only had to catch 26 pounds to win, which out there is not a crazy bag. So yeah, to be able to win that tournament, man, in front of my family, it was unreal, and it was on Mother's Day too. My mom was there, so to have that happen and unfold was really special to me.
Does your mom and dad go to every tournament uh, like they used to, or did they just come in because you had a chance, or what?
No, they go to every one of them. Um,
Yeah,
the only one they weren't at was Sabine River, but they had stuff to do. But yeah, they've been to all of them. They're
that's
super
awesome.
supportive.
That's awesome.
That is outstanding.
And on Mother's Day.
Yeah, the crazy thing was too is that Aaron Martin's won. I was really close with him, and he won on Mother's Day as well on Lake Havasu in the Elite Series. So to be able to win on Mother's Day, it was really special to me, and I don't think it was a coincidence. I think it was, he was definitely watching down on me all week, and to be able to do that was really special because uh, just with both of our moms being there, his mom was there with him on the tournament that he won on Mother's Day too.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with Aaron. I think we might have talked a little bit about it last time, but I don't think we really, you know, we talked about you going fishing with Aaron Martins, but there was more than that, right?
Definitely, yeah. His daughter actually went to the same high school that I went to, so I was always around him, and then I got to know him a little bit better because my cousin actually fished with his daughter in high school, so that was cool. And then from then on, I just started to hang out with him, got to know him really well, and got to fish with him a good bit. And I was just in high school when I got to know him and stuff like that, so I was real young still and trying to learn a bunch. And he was a big help to me, just learning the fundamentals of bass fishing and kind of how tournament fishing works. And to be able to have a mentor like that I wish it would have been a longer time, but just a short amount of time like that was really impactful to me. Just not only learning stuff, but also just trying to, learn the ropes of bass fishing when it comes to marketing and when it comes to being a stand-up person in the industry and how to work with sponsors and uh, having fun and not getting too stressed out about it, and just trying to not be too stressed when you've got a big tournament and there's tons of boats and lots of competition and everybody's good, and it's you versus the fish is what he used to always tell me, and you just have to catch as much as you can and let the cards fall where they fall.
What do you think the biggest lesson you learned from Aaron was?
Yeah, the biggest one, I'd definitely just say have fun because whenever we went together, it was always about having fun and laughing and telling jokes. And yeah, I'd just say having fun, not letting the little stuff get in your head, like losing big fish or breaking off, or, you pop a trailer tire going down the road, or anything can happen these days. There's so much stuff that gets in the way of fishing, but to be able to keep your head down and keep fishing hard no matter what happens and having fun with it. And we're super blessed to just be able to go fishing. So having fun for sure.
Absolutely. Did you have an idea after practice that you might be on good enough fish to win? Or, I mean, everybody likes to say they are, but I
No,
mean,
I didn't. I didn't think so. I mean, I knew I was around some big fish. I didn't make many casts in practice. I side scanned most all practice. And that's something I have a lot of confidence in, is using my side scan. And I live on the TVA now. I live on Gunnersville, so I do that a lot. And to be able to have confidence in your graphs and spend most of your practice time doing that, just trying to find as much ambush points for bass that you can possibly find, is really key in these tournaments when you only have 3 days of practice. So that's what I spent my time doing, is trying to find as many hard spots and offshore holes that these spawning fish were going to move to. And I found about 7 or 8 places during practice that I felt confident that I could catch a fish on. But last day of practice, we had a lot of rain and the water came up a lot, and the fish kind of spread out. So that first day, I caught 25 pounds, which I thought I was going to be doing all right, but I was in 20th place. And I was like, I got to make something happen the second day if I want to move up, and ended up getting a better rotation and caught 34 the second. So
That's crazy.
How many schools of fish did you find in practice, Tucker?
In practice, I think I found about 6 places, 6 schools. One of them wasn't there. Like, it got a lot of pressure, I think, in the tournament, and they all kind of scattered. And then I actually found 3 new places during the tournament that ended up producing a lot for me.
Sorry if I get distracted. I got a dog that's not on the leash. That's not our dog. That's my daughter's dog. Not on the leash and not on the chain because I can't catch him to get him on the chain. But he's just laying right here beside me right now. So, and I also have the Cubs game on. So you see me glancing up and down. That's what I'm looking at.
Hey, at least you're multitasking.
That's right.
Jeez.
At least he's honest.
I mean, you want to tie some baits on or knit a sweater too?
Yeah.
Like that?
I don't tie any baits on. My baits are all tied on from the last several tournaments. I don't need to retie. So we hear that comment, get on a better rotation. Are you fishing stuff that other guys are fishing, or you're talking about a timing, like you got to hit those schools that you found at the right time?
It was a little bit of both. I had 2 places that I never saw a boat on. One of the places I caught 2 overs, which are 24 inches out there that you get to bring back to the stage. And they were both over 8 pounds. And then, but the other stuff, yes, there was boats running it. It was more obvious stuff, but I had 2 places that I found that were really sneaky. But with rotation, I mean, kind of like the best time that the fish are set up and positioned to feed, which means those fish are grouped up the best, the tightest, and they're ready to fire. And every day of the tournament, I figured out, just by fishing those areas multiple times a day, I figured out what time of the day that those groups of fish were grouped up the best and ready to fire. So by the end of the day, by the 3rd day, 4th day, I'd say probably by the 3rd day, I knew the exact hour to pull up to each place that they were going to bite. So when they were grouped up the best.
And then how long would you spend in an area before you determined they were going to fire or they weren't going to fire?
It was usually like first cast. First cast, you pull up, you're going to catch a big one usually if they're grouped up right. And then after that, I would it depends. Like if there was a bunch there and they're grouped up good, I might be able to catch a few right off the bat. But most of the time you catch one big one and then those fish scatter and you might catch another one and you kind of sit there I'd probably sit on a place. I was sitting like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes on a place probably.
Anybody that's fished with me knows that's about 3 casts, 10 minutes.
Tucker, how many times had you fished Lake Fork prior to that event?
0 times. I went and pre-practiced, but I went and just figured out how to run the place just so I didn't hit a bunch of timber in the tournament.
That's kind of what my question was, is how messy was it trying to run around, and did you tear anything up? And
no, I didn't. Luckily, I thought I was going to. I had one place that was in the back of a timber field that I had to run every day, and I idled it the first day in practice that I found it. And once I got a line, I just ran it every day at the tournament. So thank the Lord I didn't hit anything. But no, I didn't ever hit any trees. I mean, I was bumping them when I was idling through some sketchy places, but the places that I was fishing mostly were kind of right off the main channel, so they weren't too hard to get to.
Yeah. And you said you
There's a lot of timber.
Yeah, we've got some lakes like that around here, and guys will treat these lakes around here like it's the Elite Series and run through stuff, and you're sitting there going,
What?
I don't think so, man.
Who does that? Who does that?
I can think of a couple of them off the top of my head pretty easily.
I mean, one's not on this screen, is he?
No, I haven't seen you get too carried away that I think, but
You haven't really been paying attention.
your side imaging setup is kind of interests me. So you said you rely on it pretty heavy. Can you kind of elaborate on what you use, and is there anything that you think you do a little bit differently besides just screen time that has helped you? You know, I'm assuming when you idle over a hard spot, you go, there's a fish, and there's seven of them in the school down there. Just talk about that a little bit. If we hadn't lost you.
Uh-oh, he might be frozen.
Driving
There he
under a
is.
bridge.
Yeah, I had a catch.
Going through a spotty area. There he is. We got you.
Did you get any of that, Tucker?
Oh,
Oh.
he gone. I
You know,
was gonna ask him how the weather was, because they were getting it here a little bit ago. The Alabama was, and I think he's home. So maybe he's not home, but I think he is.
What always, it never ceases to amaze me. A lot of these pros that we talk to.
Hey, I'm back.
There he
You're
is.
We're parking.
I don't know how much of that question you got, but
Yeah, we went through a dead spot. We're parking here so I can finish.
Are you home? Are you home?
I'm in Birmingham now.
How's the weather? Should have asked you that first, because I know you guys are getting some stuff that we got last night.
It's fine right now. I think it's gonna move in tonight though and get pretty bad.
All right.
But what were you saying about the side scan?
I was just it always amazes me how good people are with it. I don't know if maybe I've just always interpreted it maybe a little bit differently than others, or struggle with it. But you said you're finding hard spots, and I think I've kind of maybe got that figured out a little bit. But I'm just curious, you idle over a hard spot. You got it dialed in enough to where I'm sure you can probably tell me how many fish are in the school and all that. Just kind of explain maybe your setup, and you got any nuggets for perfecting the clarity on the screen using maybe some sort of a different mount on a transducer, or just kind of go through your setup a little bit.
Yeah, I run the Humminbird Apexes, and I think Hummingbird's got the best side scan. I mean, everybody's got their own opinions, but I've ran all three different units, and the Humminbird seems to be the clearest in my opinion, just for seeing fish. And my settings, I run the mega imaging, which I find is really good for seeing fish as well. But honestly, I really just turn up my sensitivity a lot. Keep my contrast around the middle. I keep it around default, and keep my chart speed, I think, on 5. But honestly, it's just about spending time behind it. And it helps when you grow up on a place like Gunnersville or Pickwick or the Coosa River, where I grew up, where there's a lot of current and those fish set up on stuff that makes sense. And whether it be shell beds or hard spots or channel swings, stuff like that. So I've got a lot of time behind the units, and I've gotten to the point where I don't have any special transducer mounts or anything like that. I just have spent a ton of time, hours and hours, thousands of hours behind the unit, just trial and error, marking stuff, saying, "Hey, these are fish." Pull, throw the troll motor down, look, see if they're fish. If they're not, then keep going, find fish, whatever. So it's just honestly just time and time I've spent with it to where I know kind of exactly what they look like. But it seems like one thing I'll say that a lot of people don't really realize is a bass on side scan is going to look more like a circular kind of like bean shape image on the side scan, and a trash fish is going to look more like a straight kind of like a skinny line. You'll see like a bunch of like skinny lines on your side scan. And the reason why that is because the bass has a more defined air bladder, and you can see that fish's air bladder, and it's more of a rounded picture on your screen because that bass has a more defined air bladder. And yeah, so I mean that's just one little nugget. I've got a bunch of little tips and stuff like that I've learned over the years, but bass are going to show up more circular and more like a bean shape, and you just got to spend a bunch of time trying to figure out what they look like, trial and error, and throwing your troll motor down a bunch and seeing if they're bass or not. But that's what I've been doing for, man, probably maybe like 7 or 8 years. I've been using side scan, so I've been using it for a long time.
Then, and with that said, do you think forward facing has helped you interpret your side imaging better? Like maybe double check or put the final stamp on it, kind of deal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely eliminates some time. When you can throw the troll motor down and you can see exactly where the fish are sitting and throw over there, but doesn't mean they're always going to bite. So sometimes it's still tricky to see. But yeah, I will say, throwing your troll motor down, finding the fish on your live scope or your forward facing, and then throwing that bait in there directly on them to see if they're going to react to it. It definitely eliminates time.
You mentioned the look of a bass on forward or on side imaging. I can relate to that, to the forward facing, what it looks like compared to a trash fish, because it seems like I like to shake minnows at drum a lot. So I'm really, really good at shaking minnows at drum on Grand. So
one thing about drum is you'll see like on the forward facing, they'll have a hard return like on their head, which I'm sure you've seen because their skull's like super hard. It's just like solid bone. And they also swim like at an angle, like down like this. So you can see you'll see like a really hard return, like right on their head, and then they'll be swimming at an angle down like this. And that's kind of how you tell. But a bass will kind of be swimming more horizontal, and they'll have like a hard return in the middle of them throughout the whole fish. And if it's a big one, you'll see tail movement, and you'll see their tail actually kicking back and forth. But if it's a small one, you usually don't see that tail kick, and it'll usually be less than a 3-pounder.
Yeah, and like I generally don't shake minnows at anything I can see their tail, because I'm always thinking to myself, it's too big a fish to be a bass.
Catfish are the trickiest. Catfish are the trickiest to tell because they have a lot of tail movement, and they're always in that 3 to 7 pound range. So they're always like the same size as a bass, and they swim horizontal too. So it's hard to tell those.
And I'm never on a big enough school that I drop troll motor and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's life everywhere. This is way too good to be true. I generally just pick up and leave. I shook a lot of minnows on Grand this winter, early spring, and I was a drum catching fool, fellas.
They eat it. They eat that thing, man.
I mean, I was like the champ there for a while. I was like, oh, I got this one.
Yep, they eat it. Sometimes I wish there were some drum tournaments on Gunnersville because I think we'd be able to win.
You'd probably win if you'd like. I mean, I could win a drum tournament on Grand. I think I was just thinking, maybe like a yellow corn colored minnow or something. Sorry to sidetrack you, John.
No, those are good. Those are good questions. Do you use it mostly? Are you mostly a deeper water? Do you hear some of these guys using their side scan and their live scope or whatever they're using shallow to find brush piles or look under docks or whatever? Are you doing any of that, or are you mostly offshore?
No, definitely for sure up shallow as well. I've used it a bunch this year, looking up shallower, finding brush, rock piles, looking under docks, all kinds of stuff like that. And it's a big help no matter if you're in 40, 50 feet or if you're in, 6 foot or 5 foot, whatever. But yeah, definitely just spending a lot of time behind your units and finding it's important when you're fishing, especially a big caliber tournament like the Elite Series, is you have to find a lot of places that you can catch bass in your short amount of practice time, because those guys are going to smash them no matter what, no matter the time of year, no matter where you're at, they're going to crack them. And you just have to find as much stuff as you possibly can, even if there's not fish on it. I still mark it, and I'll even hit some of the stuff in the tournament, just knowing that there might be a bass that would maybe pull up on an ambush point that I found.
How guy you mentioned in the tournament like the elites, you got 100 and whatever it is, 102 of the best. How often do you all find the same stuff? And
Uh,
is it more than when you were in college and the opens? Is it even harder to find your own stuff, I guess?
I would say yes and no. It depends on where you're at for sure. If the place is really small, they find everything, but the opens are definitely the worst about finding, multiple people finding the same stuff, because when I fished them, you had 5 days of practice and there's 200 plus people on the lakes. And by the time tournament starts, I mean, everybody's found everything. And the crazy thing about that is all the pressure from practice on those fish actually change the fish's behavior and make them do something different. So you think you're on something in the opens, and then you get to the day one of the tournament and the fish aren't even there because they've already changed and adapted and they're doing something else. So a lot of time last year I had to figure out during the tournament where those fish moved. If they moved shallow up on the bank close to that area, if they moved deeper offshore, I had to figure out during the tournament. I think probably 3 or 4 of the opens that I fished last year, I had to find the fish during the tournament because they had moved because of so much pressure.
And so how do you do that? I mean, like, what's your first move if you're, like, give an example of an open last year that happened to and what you did.
Yeah. So one example is Leech Lake. I was catching fish on big boulders that were in 18 to 20 foot, and I was catching them. I was catching big ones too. And by the time the tournament came around, everybody was fishing those big boulders in 18 to 20 foot. They're pretty obvious. You just get on your side scan and you see a boulder the size of a house, and you mark it and turn around and throw over there, and there's a 5-pound smallmouth on it. But by the tournament, and when the tournament came around, all those smallmouth were gone, and I was pulling up to those rocks. And I wasn't catching anything, and I caught a couple small ones, but I was like, these fish have moved, and I ended up going shallower near the same places that I was catching them, but instead of 18 to 20 foot, I was looking in that 12 to 10 foot range, and I moved up shallower near those places where they were, and I ended up catching them on the rocks that were a lot shallower, and they had actually moved up, I don't know, 10 foot, 15 foot of water, and moved up closer to the bank to get out of the pressure.
Were they close enough to the original spot that you could just, scan over there and see that they were there, or did you actually have to move to figure that out?
I mean, they were close enough to where I would, scan around the area and then find where the closest rocks were up shallower from that, and then I was able to catch them. But it's just different scenarios on every place. You know, even an offshore schooling place, like when they're on shell bars, is you know you've got a big school on a shell bar, and there's people and people idling over them, making a cast here, making a cast there in practice. By the time the tournament gets around, those fish aren't going to bite. You know, you might catch a couple if you get on it early, but those fish are pressured. So finding where those fish, sometimes, a lot of times on those offshore places, there'll be, you know, fish that break off of that main school. There'll be 10 to 15, maybe even 20 fish that actually break off of that big school, and they'll slide off and go somewhere else on a hard bottom area around that area. And if you can find those that slide off and kind of move away and you can get on those fish, a lot of times those will bite and they'll be big ones.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
That's why he gets the big money, and we are just talking about it.
Yeah.
It's just trial and error that I've been all over the country and had to get my teeth kicked in to figure this stuff out. So it's definitely stuff I've learned over the years for sure.
What's what's your infatuation with doing well on Kentucky Lake?
Man, it's an awesome place. I haven't been there in a long time. I want to go back. All these people are smashing smallies. I want to go catch those big smallmouth. But in high school, yeah, it was fun. We caught them all pre-scope, so nobody could say we're big scopers back then. So we caught them on a chatterbait and flipping a jig and throwing a big worm and a buzz bait. But
Oh, you youngins, you guys don't know how to do any of that kind of stuff. Fishing that way, it went away 20 years way before that. So
no, but that was fun. And then actually we caught them the first 2 years we were there doing that, like shallow power fishing. And then the third year we were there, we actually caught them on a topwater spook. So that was fun. Caught some really big ones on a topwater. And that was one of those tournaments where we figured them out during the tournament as well. That last year, high school championship, we had got some bites on this bar, and I was going down the bar, wasn't catching anything, cast it around where I'd gotten some bites, and I saw like a little ditch on the bar on my Humminbird Lake Master. I saw like a little indention. So I kept trolling down to that indention. I bombed over there, and my first cast was a 4-pound smallmouth. And I was like, hold on. I put the poles down. We were on a shallow bar, and we made 4 more casts and caught 22 1/4 pounds of brown fish. We caught 1 7-pound largemouth. And I mean, that was where we ended up winning the tournament, that one spot. So, I mean, it's crazy how you can figure out stuff in the tournament. And that's why, like, you got to have an open mind when you're fishing. Just because it doesn't happen in practice doesn't mean you're not going to stumble on them in the derb.
Well, you know, used to be if I didn't catch them in practice, I was losing no matter what, because I was just taking that trip down negative town. You know, so confidence, I think you're right. Confidence is everything. And it doesn't have to be like bragging confidence. It just needs to be self-confidence, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And especially like with the opens and stuff like that, when you have to catch them, if you want to make the Elite Series, it's like you have no choice. Like, you have to find them. And if practice didn't work out for you and you didn't find them, you have to adjust and you have to figure out where they went, because you don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that the tournament, they've already lost the tournament before the tournament ever begins.
I mean, that's why I don't pre-fish, Kyle.
I can't. I had a terrible day. I mean, it's just, man.
Then nothing can get in my head. It's all good.
Yeah. I mean, some of the.
That's why I like the coldest. I like the coldest days, the stormiest days, and the windiest days, because it eliminates a quarter or half the field of mental game. You got to fight through it.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I'm not gonna lie, it's been a struggle this spring for me, just because every time we go fishing, it's raining, it's cold. I'm so happy we've gotten some 80-degree days, and
Did you ever buy a dang rain suit?
No.
So Tucker, he's been bitching about this rain and his rain suit that leaks for like 6 months now, and we keep sending him links and somebody's got a code. Here's a little discount on it, and he just rather sit there and complain about soaking himself instead of
just to be clear, I have been kind of purposely doing it to work on my positive mental attitude, because I want to put myself through some misery just so I can, when the days are nicer, be like, really, that wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad.
wow.
The real answer is
You did get your rain suit.
yeah.
It's time. It's time.
Yeah. I mean, he'll spend the money. He'll spend the money on a friggin' glide bait, but he won't buy a dang rain suit.
Man,
it's only funny because it's true, Kyle.
like I said, it's time for a rain suit. I'm not gonna lie, it's time. I fish a lot of team tournaments. My partner wasn't leaving whether I said let's go or not. So, I mean, he maybe would have said get in the rod box, and that's about it. So it didn't matter if I'm miserable. He was fine. He made it very clear he was perfectly fine. So
Changing gears, so you Sabine. How much different? I mean, a derby's a derby. You're
There's a lot different.
over here and over here.
You're still competing. You're still competing. But how hard is that to go from 30-pound bags to 8-pound bags?
Yeah, it's hard, especially when you fish. I mean, I'm not gonna give excuses at all. Like I definitely didn't catch them like I wanted to, but from going to Fork to Sabine straight back to back is rough, especially traveling. You got 5-hour drive and you fish 4 days and practice starts the next day, so it's tough. And you just want a big tournament, but yeah, I mean, I honestly had a good game plan going into Sabine, and I messed up for sure. I made some bad decisions, and I was running to a place that I was planning on going to, but it had a lot of pressure in the area. And I was running down the river, and there was boats all in front of me and boats all behind me, and they were all going to that one area. I ended up turning around and running back towards the boat ramp, and ended up fishing around the boat ramp and only caught one fish all day, which I had some bites in that area by the boat ramp, but the water came up and it got super stained and the fish just were not biting. And I swam a jig and flipped all day and only had one bite. And I was like, this is not good. So the second day, I ended up going back to that place that I was going to go, and ended up making the decision to make the run. And I ended up catching almost 8 pounds and caught a 3-pounder and lost a couple big ones too. And I mean, I was kicking myself because if I just had 5 pounds that first day and made that run, I would have made the cut and had a good tournament. But that's the stuff that, you learn over time when you have a tournament like that. And I was mad about the finish, but honestly, I learned what I did wrong. And so when I go back, I've got a better understanding of that place. But it was fun. I mean, it's tough when you're trying to catch tiny fish, and when you set the hook too hard, they fly over the other side of the boat and they come off. But it was fun though. I caught them all flipping, and it was fun. But it's just you got to make right decisions in those tournaments, because those places that you've got by the boat ramp, and then if you want to run to a creek, just a creek, it's an hour run. So you can't just pick up the trolling motor halfway through the day and say, I'm going to run to this creek and fish. Because, I mean, it's an hour run there, hour run back. That's 2 hours of your day just in running time. So you just got to make good decisions. And I made a bad decision the first day and made a good one the second day and regained a little bit of points.
Yeah, I kind of felt sorry for the little Sabine bass after. I mean, you weren't the only one that was yanking them over the over the boat and out the other side. And I mean, it would have
Yeah,
been better.
you had to
It
reel
would,
set them when you're flipping a heavy heavy jig. You just had to reel into them. You couldn't set the hook,
yeah,
so it'd fly off.
yeah. The schedule maker should have
Come
went
back
to
with
the
a set of
Sabine
lips.
first and then fork.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, it would have been fine if we went to Sabine first. We wouldn't have got our hopes up, and then we could go to Fork after that.
Yeah, yeah.
It was all right though.
Do you
That,
fish every day?
I try to. I haven't been. I just got back home and I actually went offshore deep sea fishing or 2 days ago. That was fun. But I try to fish every day that I can for sure. But I haven't been the last couple days. I got to go speak at a collegiate bass national championship for the college guys, and then I'm gonna go back to Gunnersville and start fishing again.
That'd be good. That'd be good. Do you fish tournaments when you're fishing, when you're back home? As many as you can, or do you just fun fish?
It depends. If there's a tournament, I'll hop in it. But when I like, especially coming back from a back to back like this, I just kind of want to relax and just go fun fishing.
Yeah.
Just because it's the tournament style. I love tournaments, but it's like it's a lot of stress too. So just being able to relax and go have fun with your friends is nice sometimes.
Ride
old
around
are
with
you?
your girlfriend.
Yeah.
How old are
Exactly.
you? 20?
I'm 23.
23 already?
Yeah, I'm old.
Ah,
23.
Yep.
And how much money have you won? Like $1 million? Have you hit $1
I'm
million
not
yet?
sure.
You're close.
I'm not sure. I haven't added it up.
You should do that sometime. We should have done that when we were preparing for this show,
well,
but
we can
we don't
can,
we don't we don't
add
do
it
that.
up
Let's add it
fairly
up.
accurately.
Add it up.
Well, I know he's fished 48 total events with bass, and he's been in the money 18 times. And I actually saw the figure, the money figure. I didn't write it down because I knew he was going to say that he didn't keep track, and he wasn't concerned about it.
What-
He was just concerned about catching bass.
That's true, but it's a pretty cool story.
I saw quite a few numbers.
I mean, you won a 500 or $1 million tournament, right?
And it wasn't added into the Bassmaster stats,
No.
I don't believe.
No, that's not. That doesn't count.
So there's $500,000
Half a
right
million.
there.
That was pretty crazy. A truck and a boat.
It's got you at just a little over 200 on Bassmaster, I believe.
Okay, so 750,000 at 23. That's pretty good.
You're all right.
It's nuts.
You're doing all right. And
What's your girlfriend's name?
Morgan.
Morgan. Don't let him say that he can't pay. You all
I
right?
want to know what you got your mom for Mother's Day.
Yeah. What'd you buy, Mom?
Besides
Tell me.
the series.
She told me
Huh?
she wanted to win.
got it.
I get her fishing stuff. She likes to fish the ponds with me around the house. So we go all the time.
Cool. What's a good pond fishing bait for your mom? I mean, it's got to be pretty good stuff. So, I mean,
Shaky head.
Shaky head, yeah.
Shaky
Did your
head,
mom
she
know how to
loves it.
fish when she talked to me at the car wash?
I mean, that was kind of the beginning of it. That was kind of the beginning of when she started to fish.
Yeah.
When I got into it more, she got into it.
Yeah. And your dad's a dentist, right?
Yeah, he doesn't fish much, but he supports me.
But you got good teeth.
I actually had a couple cavities. I went the other day. I had to get a root canal.
Oh, nice.
You do go to your dad, right? Or you go somewhere else?
No, I go to him. But I fished the Hartwell Elite tournament, and all week I was having the worst tooth pains, and I got back home from the tournament. I couldn't breathe, man. I was hurting so bad, and I went and got a root canal, and it changed me. I was hurting so bad. It was the worst headache I've ever had in my life, and I was having
There
to
ain't
fish like it.
anything worse.
Mm.
There ain't nothing worse. I'd rather. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was terrible. Extra strength ibuprofens all day. I think my liver almost failed.
I saw a question. I think it was from Kibby.
You
Oh,
better
yeah.
hustle with it because I'm concerned maybe we're interrupting like a date or something. Like a date.
No. No. She's actually driving me up to Hartwell to speak at that thing tomorrow.
Cool. You guys almost there?
No,
No.
we're on the way right now.
Kiblinger said, "What are your thoughts on Milford Lake?"
Oh, it's a tough place. It's all right. I mean, I know that you like it, John.
Oh, it's my
But-
favorite. It's my favorite place on earth.
No, it's got some nice ones in it. I think when I was there, it was just a tough time of the year. I think seemed like maybe the water was turning over or something. I caught a 4.5 pound smallmouth out there, which was a big one. But yeah, there was a lot of small fish there, and it seemed like it was just there. But it's fun. There's a lot of rocks. It's a really small place, so there's not a ton of places for those fish to set up. But if you had it to yourself there in the middle of the week, I think it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
That's
you're doing a catch, weigh, and release tournament. It could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, or in the springtime.
You get
go
a
in the
tournament
spring.
where you got 30 or 40 or 50 boats on there. It can be a challenge.
Oh, I can imagine.
It can be
Everybody just cannibalizes one another.
yeah. Yep.
That's why I'm going to start talking to the tournament director, and at Big Hill, I'm going to start paying him off and saying just make everything off limits north of the bridge and only allow one person under there at a time.
Wow.
That's the way it is now.
Oh,
And then I'm going to pay off the crappie fishermen, and I'm going to have them just start ripping their crappie jigs off the deck of the bridge at you.
Look,
Try to go under there, you're going to get hooked.
look. I mean, there's only like 3 people up there all day anyway.
Yeah, so stay out of it.
You're not one of them. You're not part of the community.
I
Oh,
want to
my.
be community, and you won't let me.
Tucker doesn't know what we're talking about.
Oh, well, let's circle back up to Dominic's question about sketchiest boat ramp or sketchiest gas station story. Tucker?
Trying to think. I don't know. Sketchiest gas station story? Man, I haven't really had any like bad encounters. Like, I mean, I've definitely been to some sketchy places at night and stuff, but I haven't ever had anybody try to rob me or nothing.
I don't know. He doesn't have any
Ramps.
sketchy.
I've never had anybody break into the boat. I've had
Yeah. I think you're going through a sketchy area right now.
Yeah, he's in a sketchy area now.
I think you're going through a sketchy service area right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I don't know.
He gone.
Yep. Oh, there he went again.
If he comes back on, we should probably let him go anyway. It's dark.
Yeah, they're
And-
traveling.
They're traveling, and we've had him on before.
Sure.
They're
We
on
can
tape.
ask him. We can ask him if he's seen Bigfoot between the last show and this one.
There we go.
There he is.
I guess I went through a sketchy spot.
You did. You went through a sketchy spot.
2025, and you can't even be on a StreamYard call. What the hell?
Oh, I know. Well, we don't want to keep you super long anyway because you guys are traveling and we don't want to be a distraction.
No,
Have you
you're
seen-
good.
Have you seen Bigfoot since the last show? Between the last show and this show, is the question.
I think only
Has-
twice.
Has Morgan only ever seen Bigfoot?
Have you ever seen Bigfoot? She said no.
How about aliens?
I haven't seen any. I don't know. I've seen some stuff that looks like aliens for sure. I've definitely seen some UFOs.
You definitely have.
Definitely.
What about
Definitely.
Morgan?
Seen any aliens? No. No, I've seen them. I've seen some stuff that I can't couldn't explain at Logan Martin at night. Driving around Logan Martin. When I used to
Really?
go up there in the summertime when I was little, just like orange orbs that were flying through the sky, and then they just like shoot off and disappear.
Those are
Stuff
called
that-
light bugs.
No, like way up there. Way up there. And they weren't not lanterns either. They weren't moving slow. They were like be sitting there and then they take off real quick and then just disappear. I've seen some weird stuff like that, but I don't know. It could have been a drone. I don't know what it was.
Did you inhale like some odd campfire smoke?
That's
I
a
don't think so. I was
That's a
probably,
nice
I think
way
I was
to
like
put it.
12.
interesting.
That's funny.
The drama continues.
Look up orange orbs. There's like stuff about it online.
Duly
Orange orb.
noted.
All on Logan Martin?
I don't know if it's just there, but I remember seeing them and I like looked it up and there had been like other people that seen them too. Maybe it's like some kind of like drone or something that they fly. I don't know. Definitely UFOs. I don't know about Bigfoot. My dad likes Bigfoot, but I haven't seen a Bigfoot.
Your dad has seen Bigfoot? Is that what you said?
No, he just enjoys listening to the stories about it. He thinks it's real.
You don't think it's real?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he'd been seen by now. He would have been.
What do you think, Danny?
Unless he's a shapeshifter. I don't know.
If Brad Van Riet's still watching, I'm going to defer to Big Brad's theory. And his theory is that Bigfoot is also a time traveler. And there are portals all over the world that he time travels through.
I don't know about that.
That kind
Yeah,
of
I don't know about that either. I don't know about that either.
There was a whole bunch of people that said the same thing about this whole forward-facing sonar when it came out.
Yeah.
With a shapeshifter?
Yeah.
Forward-facing sonar. I don't know about that, guys. Guess what? It happened. We're here. Keep doing what you're doing, Tucker. You're an
Absolutely, man.
awful lot of fun to watch, man.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations too, man. That 127 lbs on fork was outstanding.
Thank you. Yeah, and the century belt was really cool too. Something that I didn't know I was going to get in my whole career. You never know, to catch 100 pounds for 4 days. You don't go to many places where you're able to do that. So, be able to get a century belt my
Yeah.
first year was awesome.
Very cool. Oh, crap. I almost forgot the most important question. And it's most important because my wife wanted me to ask. What's your mom's dog's name?
It's Mia.
Mia. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
John, your mic's not working.
He's froze up. Nope. Uh-oh. Riggins jumped on him or something.
Probably bit the cord in half.
Probably.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
We
Yeah,
can
you're
hear you
good.
now.
Okay.
Maybe you were close to a portal.
Maybe. I doubt it. I think that's Tucker's dog. Isn't it?
It's not.
Huh?
Nope.
Are you
Nope.
sure? Are you
Nope,
positive?
it's not. You can see the haircut on it. You can know it's not mine.
We wish you luck the rest of the year, and if you win another one, or when you win another one, you got to promise to come back on the show.
Heck yeah, definitely. I will. I'll
Did you
come back and talk about it and talk about Bigfoot and aliens.
Did you
Heck
go
yeah.
on? Did you go on Mercer between your win and now?
No, I haven't yet. He's been so busy. I'm sure he might. I don't know if he'll probably ask me, but
I mean,
think
that's
this
good.
is
I mean, I'm glad that you honored you were a man of your word and came on our show after you won. Because
heck
there are
yeah.
certain other people that may or may not be watching that are going to go on Mercer's show first
Mm-hmm.
after promising us the same thing. So
Yeah, I mean,
we're going to have to call him out on that.
Now we got to play Ring Around the Rosie with Pat Slopper since he slammed a giant bag on the Sabine. So
He's the one I'm talking about.
oh.
He flat out told me he was going on Mercer first.
got to make hay while the sun shines, fellas.
I mean, 600,000 views, 17.
We have a
I don't know.
viewership of several. I mean, come on.
They just don't all come at once.
Yeah.
That's true. We get a lot of ours on the playback, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Tucker.
Heck yeah. Thank you guys for having me. Let me know when I can come back
Thanks.
on. I appreciate it.
Thanks
Morgan,
thanks
for
for
putting
letting
up
him
with
come.
us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Morgan, thanks for letting Tucker come on.
Safe travels.
Thank you. They said thanks for letting me come on. Thank you guys.
All right.
All right,
luck.
see ya. Thank
See you later.
Awesome young man. Glad to have him back.
Definitely.
Yep.
I was pulling so hard. I wanted him to hit 40 that day. Gosh, dang, I wanted him to hit 40 pounds.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
I really wanted to see somebody break the record.
I did too.
Yeah.
It was close.
You know, you add 1.25 pounds to a bag over the 4 days and you're there.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't
I
have
was,
to,
I
you
was
didn't
gonna,
have to get to 10.
and they probably, and I didn't say it, man. I wanted to. Using those scales they use, he probably had 1.25 pounds over 4 days.
Yeah.
Or he
Is
could have had 1.25 pounds less.
true.
But more than likely, over 4 days, probably more weight than they actually show.
Still awesome.
What's the best handheld scale to buy, John?
I mean, those ones they use are great. And I just wish they didn't have the little 1/4 pound thing up in the corner where it goes, or 1/4 ounce thing in the corner. It shows that on the scale. I don't know if you were on the show when we were talking about this, Kyle. So those scales they use, and I cannot figure out why the anglers haven't ever questioned this. Those scales that they use, I've got one in the boat. When you have them on pounds and ounces, they say 3 pounds, 5 ounces, and then on the side, it says 1/4, half, 3/4. And so it'll lock in on 3 pounds, 5 ounces, and 1/4, or 3 pounds, 5 ounces, and 3/4. If
But
it's
they're only
locked in on 3/4 on a 5, if all 5 fish are locked in on 3/4, that's
Like another 2 to 3
2.5
ounces a
ounces.
day.
2.5 ounces. That's 2.5 ounces per day on a 4-day, on a 4 days. That's half a pound, 9 ounces.
Yeah. True.
Those are good scales to answer your
Bubba
question.
scale?
Those are good scales. I now use a Bubba scale, which I love. Absolutely love the Bubba scale. And I've had the Rapala where you put in the, you can keep track of the colon and all that stuff. The thing I like about the Bubba is you can see it better than the Rapala.
Mark uses the Bubba, and he does a good job with it. I let him cull the fish and do all that stuff.
I
But
use it and it's pretty close. You know, it locks in and it culls for you and it does that. And then when I get down to if I got a fish that's 2 pounds, 2.18, and another one that's 2.28, I'll put them on the beam just to make sure, tenth of a pound,
yeah,
but it's usually right. That's the one I use.
how do you keep 50 scales all calibrated the same throughout the day?
Those scales are all calibrated each morning. They have a 5 pound weight that they calibrate them with. They calibrate them at the meeting or whatever, and they keep them in a little tackle box thing. It's got the scorecard in it, and the scales and extra batteries and pencils and stuff, because they got to keep track of all that. But they weigh them. They weigh it with the 5 pound weight every day, and they're pretty good.
That's always been a concern of mine, even with MLF and their catch weigh release format. Is it's like they don't ever show it, and I didn't ask Chris about it when we had him on. It's like How do you know that it's calibrated even throughout the day?
And they used to use the same scales that Bass uses. In fact, they were the original ones to use those scales, and they have gone to the Bubbas. They just check them. They just weigh up, take a weight and weigh them, and make sure everybody's weighing the same. And
But I
then
guess
at
it's
that
only
point,
once that morning. Then is what you're saying.
yeah. Yep.
While we're on the subject of technical bass questions for John, what do we got to do to convince them to use Starlink?
Good question.
Is that the big UFO I thought I saw here a while back flying
Yeah.
over my house?
Yes. the line of lights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I thought it was Santa Claus. He was just Santa
that
Claus in
too.
the springtime.
You mean so they have good signal on all the cameras?
Yeah. That's and I totally get it. I understand what's going on, but it's like, wow, you could be using Starlink that doesn't seem to have that issue. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Well, is it Logan Parks that's running it on his boat this year?
I think you're right. I think that's what, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Somebody is.
Is
remember seeing
is that a solar panel he's got on his cowling?
No, that's be the probably the dish or his satellite dish, basically.
That's
For his internet.
Starlight Galactica.
Yep.
I thought that was a solar panel on his cowling.
It could be.
And
Might
I
be.
thought,
To
I
power it.
wonder if maybe he's got some sort of a really awesome battery maintainer system going on or something.
Well, a while back, I asked you guys about solar chargers because I've seen the little panels, 6 by 12 or 15 inches that were solar panels as a battery maintainer. Maybe that's what it is. Devin, you are on a roll tonight, man. Wow.
I'm here for it.
You lucky, enjoying that bourbon like that.
I got asked if this bottle right over my shoulder was a bottle of Patron.
Is it?
Is it?
Not that I know of.
Kind of looks like it.
It does have that shape, but I
It
don't.
does?
It might be too wide of a neck.
It's not round enough.
I took a closer picture and sent it to the viewer that was asking.
It,
So
it actually looks more like Don Julio.
I don't. Truthfully, guys, I have no
Don
clue.
Julio.
It's got a pretty decent, top to it. It's pretty big round. I don't know if it's a liquor bottle or not. I actually thought about, I don't know, putting some corks in it or something. And I just like antique crap.
Oh, put some decorative beads in it.
Might put beer tabs in it. I don't know.
Put some, yeah, do that. Poor crank.
What?
He doesn't. he doesn't join us very often, but when he does, then we talk about crap like this.
No, it's perfectly fine.
I'm kind of enjoying the Magnum size DT6 on his left
That's the
shoulder.
DT 1000.
The DT 1000.
Do you
And
guys
then-
want a little? I don't know how close I can get my
Is
camera
that
to
the
do it.
DT 3000 behind it or what?
No, the fish.
Oh, that's a fish.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are.
That's my first 5-pounder.
That looks like a 10-pounder compared to that crankbait.
Well,
Oh,
the
5
DT
pound out.
1000 will make a 5-pounder look pretty small.
Big mama.
Yep.
You ought to try to wind that thing, Kister.
Hey, don't threaten me with a good
I
time.
think
It's
you're gonna
a
have to
booger.
pull it with the boat.
I kind of wonder, since we're just really scrambling around here, I wonder if Chris Breminger is watching. Because I
Hasn't
want him. What's that, DB?
He hasn't commented yet. Normally he says, "Hey,
Some-
what's up?"
Yeah, I'm curious to know about a white and red boat where he works. So I just, if he's watching, shoot me a text.
Okay. Very interesting. What's John doing? He's moving with the sun. Now he's completely dark.
He's blacked out.
Oh, I also got a couple of other additions I found in some boxes for my office here as well. I believe one Evan Hartnett, Mr. Cannonball, gave these to me. Little metal
Sorry, I
figures.
had to
This
move
guy's
the table to plug in. I was
Uh-huh.
dying.
Did you just call him Mr. Cannonball?
Yep,
Yeah, that's
his
Evan.
nickname, Cannonball.
Cannonball.
You know, if you just replace the word Panama in the Van Halen song with Cannonball,
Cannonball.
that's Evan.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
You still see Riggins?
Val came and got Riggins.
Okay. I didn't want you to get in trouble.
No, man, he just laid down right beside me and he was cool.
You know what I've got next to me?
Oh,
Frank?
yeah.
Nice.
That's the stuff there, man.
I have the juice box.
Probably got a dried up peanut butter sandwich in it, too. Oh,
Look at that.
nice.
Guess what's right on top? I'm proud of him.
An old frog.
No froggy.
Frog. Oh, there's another one. Yep.
That's awesome.
The champ, he's turning 7 this weekend.
There you go.
Oh,
Yep. Struggling to figure out what to get him for his birthday. He tried rattling off something I cannot repronounce. I don't know. I told him what to ask his mom for, so starts with a C and ends with a utch. Resembles that.
oh, Dominic's got it. Dominic's. He's going to hook you up there, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Funny. Mhm.
Wait a minute. Shouldn't that be the other way? I mean, Dom, your
On
little
to next.
is
How's
what,
brand
3?
fishing, John?
Pretty dang good.
Nice save.
Pretty dang good.
You got any results?
Yeah, we had the Falcon Grand Challenge. 4 fish, 21.44 won that.
Jeez.
It never
20
ends.
pounds was second. 19, 18.
Did you know the guys that won?
This one guy. Fished by himself, apparently. Robert Park. I don't know. I don't know him.
I didn't either.
BRB.
Uh, Kojak, top 5, and then he turned right around and Heather, Kojak and Heather. And then they turned right around and had like a top 9 or 18 or something like that in the Nichols the next day. They had a good weekend. Nichols took 24.78, 5 fish to win it. And those guys, they took home a boat, 10,000 extra dollars from Nichols, and 5,000 extra dollars for the Camus highest finisher.
Did you
So
see
they-
who finished? Did you see who finished second in the Nichols?
And then Stephen Metter.
Mm-hmm. He won the last one. I'm assuming they probably got team of the year, didn't they? Because they won. I think they won the second one.
Team standings. No. Right now, Alex Torkelson's leading that.
Nice.
Is it updated?
1, 2, 3 tournaments.
Good for him.
Steve Van is in second. Justin Barber. Brendan McDonald's in third. Steve Metter and Nick
Frakes.
Fricks is in fourth. Scott Tossi and Mike Butcher is in fifth. Micah and Andy Littlejohn in sixth, tied for sixth with Brock Enmeyer.
Was Brock fishing with Hunter Stanley on that
He's
one?
fishing with Jacob Etzkorn.
Oh, okay.
That was who he's fishing with. That's who the points are. Let's see. They finished high. They got third. Jacob Etzkorn. No, that's the Camus Awards. They got third in the Camus Award.
How can you win one and finish second in the third one and not be at the top? What did they do in the first tournament? Blank?
The point standings, they were 58th in the first one.
That's crazy. I just can't imagine them not being at the top.
Alex Torkelson have a second, a 12th, and an 18th.
It's pretty tough.
And the team below them has a third, a fourth, and a 40. And the team just above Steven and Nick have a 12, a 31, and a 17. So they take your point. That's how they do the points. They take your place, your finish, and they add it together. So it's like golf. Lowest score is what you want. So Alex Torkelson and Bates Enmeyer have 32 total points. Second place has 47. Third has 60, and Steven and Nick have 61.
Kind of interesting way of doing that.
Yeah. That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, actually.
I
Brandon, I don't know if Brandon fished Nichols or Falcon. I don't know how he did.
saw Brandon's partner posted something about Falcon. what Brandon, if you're still on, what was it, top 30, something like that? I was thinking it was right around there.
See if I can find them right quick.
I'm
While
gonna
you
do it. I was gonna say I'm gonna do a quick test. I didn't know if you saw this, Danny, where we can show the comments on the stage now. Did you see that?
I did see that.
I'm gonna turn it on.
Well, let her fly. While
Let's see
you're
what
doing
happens.
that and John's looking up the grand results, real quick, Kansas Buddy Bass, or the KBN Team Series, was at Truman this past weekend. That just going off of the 2-day totals, looks like just under 28 for 2 days. Second was just below that at 2770, 2464. I think we have 26 registered now. So whomever wins that grand event is definitely going to the national. All good. Cool.
Nice. 37th from the Falcon for Brandon and Brad Ragsdale.
There you go.
Got to check. I didn't see their name in the nickels. They must not fish the nickels. He don't fish nickels, he said. That's
Ah, yes. Summertime is here, boys. The kids are fighting.
Yay. Are they out of school yet?
Yeah. They were out Friday. It was their last day.
dang. Kind of early.
Well, it's just, yeah, I was kind of surprised because of how many dang snow days we had this year.
Oh, you know what we had? The results that we didn't. Did we give the results from the beat down thing?
No. We were all ready for that too.
I should have sent pictures, man. So I'm trying to think where we left off. So we had just fished Tuesday. So I had the 19 pounds on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I had one of the leaders. There was 2 guys tied for the lead. And I had one with me and Jerry had one with him. And basically whoever and because you golf with the same team you fish with, is basically whichever team won, that guy was going to win. Nobody else could catch either one of them. So, of course, I have a crappy day fishing and I catch like 7 pounds. And Jerry catches, and Jerry's a much better golfer than me. Like he's better than all of us, like put together. He like golfs 4 times a week. So I knew I had to have another big bag to have a chance for my guy to win it, and I didn't have a big bag. So my guy ended up falling from tied for first to 4th place.
Ouch.
Yeah. So the guy that won, I don't know if you remember him, he was the guy from Kentucky
Mm-hmm.
that had never golfed before. He had never golfed, and he did not catch a bass in 3 days. And
Oh my.
And he won.
And he won. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody fall in the lake?
Yes. You mean on the next day? On the last
Yeah,
day?
like after
No.
after Aquaman.
No. Aquaman won. He's the guy that fell in.
Oh yeah, okay.
Aquaman won the tournament.
He
Oh,
just won
that's
because he
awesome.
fell in the lake.
Yeah. So he got like, I had like 7 pounds and Jerry had 12 the final day. So they were going into the golf. We knew we had to have an outstanding golf game to beat, and that just wasn't going to happen. Jerry's too good. So Aquaman won. He got like $60 and a tackle bag and a hat. And second was Jerry. Jerry got $40 and a buck knife. And third was I believe Glenn, who also had never fished before, but he did catch a bass. He got a t-shirt. Fourth was John, the guy that was tied for the lead going in, and I let him down. And he got a t-shirt, I think. And fifth was me. And I did get big bass, 510 for the tournament. And then sixth was my dad. And so I did figure out the common denominator in the common denominator in the boat that caught the least fish each day was my dad. So he's the bad luck. Next year, I don't think we're going to fish together. But they all had a good time. It was fun. They're wanting to do it again next year. They're wanting to make it bigger. They're wanting to advertise it. They're wanting to have like like Danny, you
Dang.
bring your boat and a couple people, and Kyle, you bring your boat and a couple people, and they want to make it a bigger deal. We all stay at the lake lodge and cook out, and I already told them, I said, I cannot provide any more boats. Like they'd like, we got 2 or 3 more people that'll come from Colorado. I said, I might be able to get one more, because I had Moody originally scheduled to do this, and we didn't, because they were going to bring 6 guys, 2 in each boat, and then they ended up backing down to 4, so we canceled Moody. And then I'm like, I can probably get you one more boat if you want to bring 6 guys, but if you want to bring more than that, they're going to have to provide the boats. But it was fun. We had a good time. They had a good time.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
It actually does.
It was fun.
Fun.
It was fun.
Can you drink beer while you golf?
Sure.
Then
my dad had like 4 beers that week. Those 4 days.
Mhm.
That's more beers than he's ever drank in his life.
Well, good.
Does somebody need just like a caddy that likes to coach a little bit? Or maybe, that looks like maybe it's 150 yards ish. And
Ish.
but I'm not interested in swinging anything.
No, you got to play. You got to play.
Yeah, you gotta play.
That's why we do a 3 guy scramble. I mean, the guy that won has never played golf in his life, didn't have clubs. I borrowed clubs from a buddy at church, and the clubs were like 1950 clubs, like in a little bitty, like a golf bag about that big around, like you see in the 1950s. And by the end of the second day, though, he was actually hitting it. He used the same club, I think, on every shot for 2 days. It was like the driver. He used the driver for this every shot for 2 days. But by the end of the second day, and by the middle of the second day, maybe by the end of the first day, he was hitting it straight. Like you could count on him hitting it straight and about 50 or 60 yards. Like I think,
Where'd you guys play?
like I think he's hooked on go. Like I think he's probably going to go home and buy some golf clubs.
Where'd you guys play?
We played Patricia Island the first day, 9 holes, and he didn't play the first day. He just rode along and watched, and then he decided he wanted to try it the next 2 days. And then the second day we went to Shangri-La, and we were supposed to go to Shangri-La the third day, but we had such a crappy experience at Shangri-La that we didn't go back.
I thought there was a golf course called the Dam Golf Course.
There is. It's down in Langley. It's too far.
I'll be right back.
So the third day, we went to Peoria Ridge. And then the fourth day, after the fishing part of it was over, we played 18 holes at the Coves where my wife works.
Good times was had by all.
So
That is a loud frog.
yes, my golf experience is that so Wendy's parents were avid golfers, and we bought the old family farm from them. And the backyard, which is 4.5 acres, they kept it mowed down to use for driving range. And while they were alive, I did too. And they always wanted me to come play golf with them. So every first warm day in February, I would get a bucket of balls and driver, and I would go out and I would smack those until I was tired of cussing. And then I would pick it all up and put it back in the shed until the following February.
Yep.
So I'm totally green at golf myself. Connor's a pretty good golfer.
Yeah.
Wendy hasn't played. I don't know if she's played one time since her mom passed, but yeah, that intrigues me. I like things where I can participate and drink beer.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a strength I have. I mean, it's not the strength I used to have, but it's still a strength. You wanted to show that Jeep off, didn't you?
I just wanted to get in a more comfortable chair because my chair that I normally sit at is just killing me this evening. So,
well, you are pretty old.
I was on my feet the majority of the day, so I feel a lot better now.
I mean, you're what, 13, 14 years older than Tucker Smith?
How old did he say he was?
23.
23.
I thought he was maybe a couple years over 20, but I wasn't sure. Yeah. My birthday's next month.
So is mine. I'm a couple of years older than you, though.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the year, isn't it?
Wait,
Yep.
This is
are you
it.
about a whole Tucker Smith older than me and Tiki?
How old are you?
I was born in 88.
I was born in
You're-
'89.
You're born. Kyle Cranker was born the same year my son was.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be 36 in July.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated high school in May of 1988.
Yeah, I'm exactly Tucker's age older than you.
Uh, and that little fart said he was old. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? I feel like the gym shorts I have on under this desk are older than 23 years old.
I bet you Valerie has a t-shirt in her closet older than. In fact, I know she does.
I know I do.
I know she's got a. I don't have that. I don't think I do. But Val has a Web City football t-shirt.
Oh my.
That's from when Brett was playing.
Yeah, that'd be about right then.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you tell us the name of this Jeep is?
The name of my Jeep
Yeah.
is called For Sale.
For sale.
Oh, doesn't have a cool name like your work car, huh?
No, this one here was just one of those that I had to buy so I could drive one until I got the other one done.
That is a mechanic problem. Yeah. We
And the third one
sympathize,
comes
but
into play.
understand.
Yeah, it's just a run around town. Don't hit any potholes, and it's one of those rigs that finds the rut in the road and stays there.
Oh, nice.
Just hold on to the steering wheel and go for the ride.
We didn't get many comments on where people are watching from. I was hoping that maybe, like Tucker's parents were watching and some of those folks, and I was hoping they'd comment.
He probably forgot to tell him.
Dang kids.
Taking their road trips to Hartwell and whatnot.
In the middle of the night.
Hey, yeah. Like the last time I would want to be driving.
That's why they're not seeing any Bigfoots. They're driving in the dark.
Too dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why he has a little more alien stories than he does Bigfoot stories.
True. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah. What did he say it was? Like orange orbs or something like
Yeah,
that?
on Logan
orange
Martin.
orbs.
Yeah, Logan Martin Lake, orange orbs.
Brandon says he's watching from the couch.
So just something to start maybe wrapping this podcast up a little bit, just to have a conversation, a little bit of interaction.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna kind of ask you guys' opinions, and then maybe if we get some comments, we'll see. So since this is just me kind of rambling and ranting a little bit.
Oh dear.
We got a rant going.
Rant?
Yes.
We should have
So
for a rant.
I've recently witnessed a friend of mine purchase a new boat. Okay, and this friend of mine has a pretty decent deal on a new boat, and it still cost him. Yeah,
Keys rant. Yes.
this boat still cost him a pretty penny, and interest rates are a little bit too much, and this and that. So my thoughts, because I'm ready. I'm due up. Old Blue over here. I've had my boat for too many years to count. I think 13, but I could be wrong. And it's time for something else. I've got my sights set on a new one, but I've actually been considering buying a boat, trailer, and hoping the motor was blown up. And then putting a brand new Mercury 4-stroke on the back and having the warranty. And then obviously being able to rig it the way I want to rig it. I could care less even if I buy a boat with a trolling motor, electronics, any of that. I wished all of it was stripped off. Now, obviously, I have some, I've got the tools and the capabilities of rigging my own boat and doing all that. But where do you find a boat that's in good shape, a trailer that's in good shape, without a motor and without electronics? And it's really hard to find.
It's about
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah, it really is.
I know that's kind of a crazy idea that I've had, but I think it would be fun. I would enjoy doing that. You know what I'm saying?
It might be fun, but I think you'll end up paying more for the boat.
Yeah, Brandon.
I mean, I think you can get. What I'm saying is, I think you can buy personally, this is just me personally. I would never buy a new boat just because of how much they cost. I think you can buy a boat. You can find a boat, and I would never buy an Elite Series angler's boat, but I would buy an MLF angler's boat because they don't run them. They don't have. They get to idle to their first fishing spot. If they want, they don't run them. They don't put very many hours on them, and most of those you get all the warranty too.
And that's kind of what I'm saying with buying one and putting a brand new motor on it, is getting a full warranty on it.
But I think you can get a full warranty on a lot of boats that are out there for sale. I think you can get a full warranty, is what I'm saying, if you find the right one. But if you buy one that doesn't have any of that stuff on it, unless you got deals, I think you'll pay more in the long run buying a trolling motor and buying the batteries and than you would with it already on there. I think. I don't know.
I just think you're gonna have a way harder time finding that specific of a deal that you're looking for.
And I definitely know that I know in the back of my head that it's a challenge. And truthfully, at this point in time, I'm not sure that I know exactly what I'm looking for. I can tell you it's not a 203 champion again. I've had two of them, and then it's just time for something different. Is it a Go Fast Stratus like what Eric used to have? That boat was a lot of fun.
Andrew Sales, he's watching from Idaho.
Yeah, my local dealer, we're pretty tight, Andrew. I wish if somebody ever trades him in a used boat with a blowed up motor, I'm probably the first one he calls. But
that's how I got my boat. It's been a long time, but that's exactly how I got my boat Angler's Point, Angler's Port up there at Truman. Used to be a Ranger dealer, and one of the Kansas Nation guys was working there, and I just told him, hey, if you ever run across a good deal, call me. And one day he called, and he's like, not going to find a better deal than this. And he was right. I mean, it was some guy that buys a new boat every 2 years and bought this one, had this one, and had put 20 hours on it.
Yeah.
And I went up and bought it.
Well,
And it didn't have a lot of that stuff. I mean, I added the Ultrex, and I added a couple 12 units and the power poles. I mean, you might be able to find a boat that doesn't have everything on it. You know, like you can probably find a boat that's just got, a trolling motor and 1 or 2 graphs, maybe a graph in the console or something, and nothing up front, and no power poles. You can probably find something like that, I think, and then add all that stuff. But again, I think you probably pay more than if you bought one that's got it all on it. I don't know. You could just buy mine.
Blow your motor up.
I mean, I was thinking about that today. I mean, mine's a 2012, and I don't know how many hours it's got on it, but I mean, I haven't looked lately, but it's less than 500 hours for a 2012. I don't put that many hours on them per year. I mean, what is that? I bet it doesn't even have 400 on it.
I mean, you'd be like, yeah, not very much. 30 hours a year, 40 hours a year.
400. I mean, 400 divided by 13, 30 hours a year.
Well, going from a different angle, same question, just off on a little side road here. And I'll ask this of you guys and of the viewers. When is a boat too old to repower?
Well, I can tell you, I know exactly when a boat is too old to repower. When the transom's shot.
Fair. That's pretty simple. Yeah, that's pretty easy.
When the transom's showing signs, I know this sounds crazy, and a lot of I went all the way to Dallas, Texas with a guy one morning to buy a used boat. He took me with him. He wanted me to check compression. He wanted me to tell him if the boat was any good or not. And one of the tests that I was taught early on to make sure the transom's good, if the gel coat's cracked right off the bat in the back, it's something's going on there. But the other test is you just trim the motor up just a little bit to where the skeg is not touching the ground, and you just put both feet on the ventilation plate in the lower unit and you jump up and down. And if the transom flexes at all, with your 200 pounds, I guess, whatever it is, if the transom flexes at all, it's done. It's junk. Because you're putting way more than 200 pounds of force on it when you're full throttle of that 150 horsepower, whatever it is, doesn't matter. That's my opinion. A boat that's a 1980 that's got a good transom on it, and your motor blows up, and you don't want to rebuild it, repower it.
Fair. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what it is. You're never, ever going to get close to the value of it back.
Probably not.
So once
It just
dues,
depends on how far in love you are with it, DB.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure that. I think it depends on how old it is. I think the older the boat is, like right now, I think I could sell my boat for more than I paid for it. 13 years later.
your models or your year class of Ranger, yes, I believe so too.
I mean, with the equipment that I've put on it. Now, that equipment wasn't on it when I bought it, which makes up the difference. But I think I could sell it for more than I paid for it.
Well, I can promise you that's one of the reasons why I'm probably ready to sell mine now versus when I bought mine, is because that boat that I'm looking at right now doesn't owe me a dime, and I guarantee I can sell it for more than I paid for it.
But
Got to replace it.
you're going to pay a lot more for it than we did back then, too.
Yep.
I mean, every time I get to thinking about that, and selling it and getting something different, I'm like, man.
You're going to have to put double what you sell it for to
Yeah.
get something that you want.
I would have to, like, I would love to have a 520 with a 250 on it. It's a little bigger than mine, but not a lot bigger than mine. It's like a foot longer, but more storage, more deck space. Just, I'd love to have a 520. And not a new one.
They're in the mid to
Like
in
Jared's like I love like Jared's boat. I love that color. It's my colors. It's everything. But if I wanted to buy Jared's boat,
46,000.
at least,
That's what he priced it to me at because I asked him.
yeah. Well, that's about 10 grand less than he originally wanted for it.
Well, he told me how many hours was
He's
on it,
got a crap ton of hours on it.
and I told him how many scratches was on it before he priced it to me.
Yeah.
I said, man, it's gonna need a buff job. But yeah, it's nice boat.
Yeah.
Really nice boat, and it's wide. Got a wide beam to it.
Mm-hmm.
Ranger set flat in the water. Yeah, good fishing boats.
I mean, and what I like about it is it's a 2019,
Mm-hmm.
which is the last year before they went to Johnny Morris. So it's an actual Ranger.
Yeah, their fit and finish forever was bar none. And I'd say fit and finish. It's I worked at Cobalt and Neodesha for a year. You can't get there for the longest time. You could not get a better bass boat. There wasn't one produced.
Uh-uh.
They had a wiring schematic on the back lid. I mean,
Yeah.
they were the best.
When I went through the factory in the very beginning, like the year Johnny Bass Pro bought them, so they hadn't changed much. Like they hadn't changed a lot. It's everything in the factory was being built basically the same. They hadn't changed a lot, but they'd added in the same factory Stratus and
Triton.
Triton. And so we went through the factory, and they all came down the same line. They all came down the same line. Like you'd have a Triton coming by, and people would be working on them. You'd have a Stratus coming by, and then you'd have a Ranger. But the difference was when a Ranger came by, I'm just remembering this off the top of my head, but when a Ranger came by, like doing the fiberglass, laying the fiberglass, hand laying, all that, there was like 12 people working on the Ranger. When a Triton came through, there was like 6 people working on the Triton. When the Stratus came through, there was 2.
Hmm.
And the transom, Forrest's brother gave us the tour. And of course, he's Ranger man all the way. And when they got to the transom part, he picked it. There was 3 different materials that they put in the transoms. And the Ranger was, just something that was that thick and you couldn't drill through type of stuff. And Triton was half of that thick, and the Stratus you could bend with your fingers. And he showed us that stuff. Like, he's like, here's the Stratus. I'm like, are you really supposed? I mean, isn't this your company, all of it? Like,
Yeah.
That's how they go so fast.
Yeah.
That's how the Stratus
Mhm.
goes so fast. Is they're lighter weight, and they're
Yep.
built for speed.
Yeah.
I
It's
remember
got
Danny will remember Craig Wolf's Stratus.
Oh yeah.
That was he bought that from Eric Stone,
Yeah.
Okay.
the white one.
Yeah, that was a fast boat.
That was scream.
What year was that boat, Crank?
I don't remember what year it is.
Gosh,
I just remember the red Stratus that Eric had, and that was a
Oh.
rocket.
Yeah, I mean, even with me and Craig and Tackle, it still was like 76, 77.
Did it have a Evinrude on it?
I believe so.
mm-hmm.
Got it at Barker's, didn't he? Barker's was the Stratus dealer down here.
I
The
wanna-
red one did not come from there.
No, I think Eric bought his through Smithville.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Smithville. That's right. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Stratus. It was Javelin that Barker sold.
Oh yeah. I remember. That was
Yeah, the red one was after the white one, Kyle.
Yeah. Those were the days.
those were the days.
Yeah.
I
Kansas Bass Nation qualifier out of Barker's Edgewater Marine. John Stewart, tournament director.
Were you like biased to fishing in the Neosho River, or was that just why were you doing that?
Doing what?
Making them go out of Barker's.
Barker's paid us to go out of there.
Okay. That's all I needed to hear. I mean, it's just a
And-
long
And at the time, it was the best place. It was before Martin's came along. And it was after Red 11 had become run down.
After Red 11 had become run down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the city ramp wasn't anywhere near as nice as it is now.
Well, I was curious. I didn't know what the status of Martin.
Barker's was actually a pretty nice place at one time.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it was. It's just you're favoring one part of the lake for sure.
I mean, it ain't
But
any
hey, I mean,
different
if they're
than
paying,
it ain't any different than Wolf Creek.
I mean, Barker's
nicest facility on the lake.
Huh? It wasn't there. That wasn't there.
Tommy Barker was a nice guy. I don't have anything against him.
I think you're
But the
thinking of a different place, though.
Wait a minute. I am. Pier
Yeah.
59.
What are you thinking of? What are you?
Ballerina?
Ballerina, yeah.
That's in the same area.
Yeah, it's just
That's where you guys were going out of, was Ballerina.
no out of Barker's.
Gray's
Barker.
Ranch?
Barker's is between Ballerina and the city ramp.
Wolf Creek.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
You can still catch fish out of Barker's.
I was thinking Gray's Ranch for some reason.
Oh,
Where's that?
North of Rainbow Bend.
you are going to need to open the garage door and stop huffing all the
Yeah, no.
chemicals in there.
Gray's Ranch is like you come out of the Elk River and you're headed all the way across the Neosho, and it's just a little north of there, John.
Yeah, no. I mean, Barker's had some nice cabins, had a nice weigh-in, little weigh-in shack thing,
Mm-hmm.
had a chute of death for the fish, so you could shoot them down there. Yeah.
A lot of tournaments got one off that rock pile out there.
What rock pile?
Yeah. A lot of fights started right there first thing in the morning, I'm sure.
I caught 2 fish out of there last week.
Oh my.
Barker's Edgewater Marine.
Yep.
That's the stuff.
Had an enclosed trailer for a boat trailer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Roll the back door up, put the whole trailer in the water and pull the boat out.
Yeah.
Trailer kept. Not garage kept, Crank. Trailer kept.
Yeah, covered trailer kept.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
His wife fished just as much as he did.
Yeah.
Didn't she guide? There was a lady guide that headquartered there.
It could have been her. I mean, she fished just as much as him, and he
Yeah.
put her in the water a lot.
Yeah, I think her and him fished like the guys and gals that Val and I fished back in the day. There's old Riggins.
Oh my.
Buddy. Hey, buddy. I'm going to say hi. Yep. Say hi.
Riggins.
Over here.
Riggins. Hi, Riggins. So we don't know if we have Pat next week?
It's not confirmed. He said he would be on.
Cool.
We've got 3 or 4 options, I think, next week. You know, a couple of them are fishing heavy hitters. I think they're fishing heavy hitters. Maybe not. I haven't looked at the list. but there's an MLF going on, BPT going on right now. So,
Mhm.
and then we got Clay still wanting to come on. So we've got some options that I'm working on.
And you do a fine job.
Mm-hmm.
We need some more freaky alien stories too. We haven't had one for a while. I'm kind of digging
No.
the orb thing.
Well, we definitely peaked at the Brandon one, so
Yeah.
that's
For the
not
time
gonna
being,
be.
I don't know how we're going to beat that.
I don't think anybody's gonna ever beat that.
Mm-mm.
That's the
You guys,
Mount Everest of it.
you guys doing anything interesting for Memorial Weekend? Are you guys cooking up any good grub or anything like that?
I am
I don't know.
sure that I will light the pit at some point. Because not going to be doing anything else because we're forecast for rain all 3 days,
Mm.
65 degrees.
I'm supposed to be going to a crawfish boil Saturday,
Oh.
America.
so I'm pretty excited about that.
Well, yeah.
I think I'm doing I think I'm frying some fish up.
I haven't even looked at the schedule. I mean, the weather.
My daughter requested some smoked bologna last night, so
America.
Yeah,
I know
I've
I
got-
like that kid.
yep.
I recently did some. I've got some in the refrigerator, sliced, ready to roll.
Mm, put that in the frying pan. Make you a
Oh, my-
sandwich.
Eat it cold.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
what?
man, dude, you gotta fry it up too.
Oh, it's good cold too.
Yeah, it's good cold, but
Good cold anyway.
yeah.
I like to cut a steak of it off and grill it on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are making me hungry. I haven't eaten yet.
You better run down to Tomcat and get a sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh my. Guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate you tuning in and especially when we have little internet issues with the guests sometimes. It's frustrating, but we appreciate you all watching. And sometimes when you go back and watch it later, it doesn't cut out as bad as it does live. So that's just my brain rotting away. Possible.
All right, fellas. We'll have a safe, happy weekend.
Yes.
Take pictures. Whatever you're doing.
Or it didn't happen.
I might take Riggins fishing, maybe.
Well, take Riggins fishing. You could make a video about your favorite time taking Riggins fishing.
I could do that. Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to do my videos for Mr. Crank this weekend. Can we do more than one?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do one with my boys and then one with my dad and I.
There you go.
That's what I'm going to do.
There you go.
And you do one with Oliver.
Yeah, I don't know about that. If I can get him to
Have a
sit
good
still long
weekend,
enough.
everybody.
Peace.
See you guys.